Today we're having a look at number 3 of the 3 Ioniqs in the Hyundai family. First there was the hybrid, and then came the full EV, and then this one, which is right in between. This is called the Electric Plus, or their plug-in hybrid. So I'm not going to really dwell upon the exterior very much because it's essentially the same as the hybrid and the electric. It has a very conservative look. It doesn't really scream out, look, I'm a futuristic vehicle or something, which I'm a big fan of, and I know a lot of other people are. On the interior, same thing, not a lot of difference. It really feels like a conventional car. There's nothing really here that says, you know, I'm an EV or a plug-in hybrid or even a hybrid. Sure, there's a few little different items in the menu you can go to see where your power is going, but that's about it. The interior is very, very well equipped. You have a great infotainment system, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. This is the limited model, so it gets leather seats and a few other goodies we'll talk about later, but it also gets wireless charging. It has this great roof, and all trim levels get heated front, rear seats, as well as steering wheel. Room-wise, tons of room. Since this is just the plug-in hybrid, it doesn't use as big of a battery, you don't really compromise much space. Cargo area, 750 liters of interior space, no problem putting stuff in the back. In the second row, or in the back seats, we could fit the 2 kids in there, no problem, and those seats take up a lot of room. Sure, they can, if they really try, kick the back, but this does have a lot of room for this class of vehicle. What's underneath the hood? What's the goods under there? Well, it's a 1.6 liter Atkinson cycle engine, and that puts out 104 horsepower and 109 pound-feet of torque. Doesn't seem like much, but when you pair that up with a 45 kilowatt electric motor, which is 60 horsepower, and another 125 pound-feet of torque from there, you actually get 164 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque, which is very respectable. The battery on this is an 8.9 kilowatt hour battery. So compared to the hybrid, it has a bigger electric motor, a bigger battery. But if you compare it to the full EV, it has a smaller battery and smaller motor. Performance-wise, it drives like a hybrid. What does that mean? Well, I own a hybrid. On demand, when it needs it at higher speeds, the gasoline engine is running, and under lower speeds, a lot of times, it'll kick into EV mode, where it's just the EV. You do have a HEV button though. So if I press that button, we're in hybrid mode right now. Even though we're in hybrid mode, you can hear that engine go on, but a lot of times it will run an EV. Now, the advantage of that is maybe you're going to be doing a lot of highway driving. You can put it in that hybrid mode, and you might want to save the EV range for in the city. What is the range on this? With a full charge, it is 27 kilometers. Not a lot of range, but definitely decent enough to help drive that fuel economy number down. Talking about fuel economy numbers, 4.1 liters per 100K combined highway and city. We've actually averaged in the course of a week 3.7. That is super, super good. I'm gonna have a hard time getting used to getting back into my own car with those type of numbers. You can easily get over 1,000 kilometers per tank on this Electric Plus. Now, one thing that I'm not a big fan of on this plug-in hybrid, let's put it back into EV right now. So we're in EV, yes, it's silent, but that is not always the case. When it's cold out, but not even that cold, today it's 7 degrees, when I came out to start it, it defaults to EV mode, the combustion engine starts up because it needs that engine to be warm to use the climate control to heat the cabin. And to me, that just, it kind of defeats the purpose for me, because I want that electric range for real short trips, driving the kids to daycare, picking them up at a camp or something like that when it's around the city or around where we live. Because those short trips are the things that really kill your mileage with an internal combustion engine. But if it's running already, yeah, it's just not doing it for me. For a lot of other people, it's not gonna be a deal breaker, but for me, I'm just a little bit disappointed that I can't run just EV. Now, at higher speeds, you can go up to, I've had it up to about 110 kilometers an hour on just EV. We're doing 90 right now, actually. above the speed limit, you better slow down. But if you really need more power, basically if you step on it, you can hear that gasoline engine kick in. I can understand that, I get it, I got no problem with that, but the fact that it just comes on unnecessarily just kind of bugs me. Transmission wise, it's going through a 6-speed dual clutch transmission, and this one has an independent rear suspension, unlike the full EV model. Another thing that I really question though is, where does this car fit in the family? Of course it fits in the middle, but when you look at the price, that part just doesn't make sense to me. You see, the hybrid, straight hybrid, costs just over $22,000. This one is $32,000, and then if you go for the full electric, that is only just over $35,000. So there really isn't much of a difference between this and the full EV. Like, if it was my money, I would take the full EV. But the price, you see, depending on where you live, if you live somewhere where there's rebates like in Ontario, Quebec, or British Columbia, you don't get the full rebate on this plug-in hybrid because of the battery size. So, for example, in Ontario, you get up to $14,000 rebate on an EV, but on the plug-in hybrid, this one, you only get $8,000. So you can do the math there. It actually is less money to buy the more expensive EV in those markets. So yeah, I think this should be priced a little bit kind of in the middle of where it should be, and then I think they would actually sell more of them. Plug-in hybrids might not be for everyone, but for some, it's the perfect bridge, that gap between going from combustion to EV. Maybe you don't want to take that leap of faith into pure EV. Then the plug-in hybrid will work for you. Plus there's some advantages like parking in those primo spots where EVs park at the mall or the library, or driving in the HOV lane with a single occupant where a lot of jurisdictions that is allowed. So if all those sound good to you and you want to have unbelievable fuel economy, then you probably want to look at a plug-in hybrid like this Ioniq. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more everyday reviews, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.